that there are things that you don't have control of. And if you get that and you embrace change, you save yourself from disappointment. People are disappointed because they don't like change. They want things to remain the way, and it's not possible. Things will change. How? It's God who knows. Whether for good, for better, or for worse. But they will change. Remember yesterday when we look at the attendance register, I think we had about... The attendance was very good. If I look at the statistics, that was about almost 600 people. And most of them are not members. They had to drive from very far because of what they believe they will get in the mountain. Then there are people who have access to the mountain who don't see the need. But until something changes, for us to be drawn back to God. But when the change comes, you see, the world does not train you to be able to handle change. Some of us, we don't resist change. We resist to be changed. I love you. Please take up your seat. Tell your neighbor, you might not resist the change, but you resist to be changed. And if you resist to be changed, there's no way you can love change. There are things that matter to me. Even in my calling, there are things that change. Amen? Even yourself, tell your neighbor, your own health is changing. Yes. Now for you to control, if your health has changed to blood pressure, you must control the change and embrace it so that you can sleep. But if you don't control the change, you don't accept the change, you don't embrace the change, you don't understand the change, you resist the change, you'll be sick. Because change is coming anyway. It is coming. It's not whether we like it or... See, some of the things will have to change. Please tell your neighbor, even if you did not do anything in your life, you would be sitting and sleeping and eating. Something will change. Maybe you'll be bigger. If you say you don't want stress and you want to be lazy, you watch the TV all the time, something will change. Your mind will be toxic. So you have to do something before something happens to you for change to be a good change. And there are many changes. There's a good change, there's a bad change. But the change is imminent. It's one thing that nobody has control of. How do I keep myself focused and I protect myself from disappointment? I love change. I always plan for the good, but I would anticipate the worst. So if it happens beyond the circle of my control, I can live with change. Amen. Because change is good. If you remember yesterday when I was preaching in the mountain, I said, this person called Goliath and David. Goliath was a perpetual warrior. He knew how to fight. He even had the armor and the sword to go to war. But David was just a small boy. He was not inclined to certain techniques and defense mechanisms that Goliath used and Goliath knew and Goliath owned. But that did not intimidate David. All that David knew is God has seen him through before and God is not going to fail him ever. When he approached Goliath, he was going there to win. Amen. But because Saul was used to a certain method of fighting, Saul was trying to convince David, you must take my armor, take my sword in order for you to kill this giant. But David had embraced change, he understood change, and he knew that change is good. He said, I don't know these things, I'm not going to use them. I don't know the sword, I don't know the armor, I'm going there in the name of Jesus. Goliath was looking for a stone. Goliath was looking for a sword. David used the stone. Amen. Amen. David conquered and defeated Goliath because of the change that he brought in the war zone. He was not going to win if he had a sword. Now some of us, we have Goliath in our lives. They keep on telling you to do what we know, not what God is doing now. Now you can't grow if you don't like change. You can't progress if you don't like change. Some of you, your life has been a pattern. You have stopped dreaming. There's nothing else that you desire because you are so content. You have to dream. You have to do something to change your life. Because if you don't do it, something will happen anyway. Tell your name. If you don't do anything, something anyway. Because if you're not doing anything, there's something that is called force of gravity. The flower is sitting here. Even if the flower does not want to fall, but it will be forced to go down because there's a force that's acting against it anyway. Even if it says, I don't want to go down, but because of the force of gravity, something will happen. Same with our lives. There are things that you have to do before anything happens. Amen. One of them is change. We must change the way we've been seeing things, change our lives, change our association, change our behavior, change our mediocrity, change the entitlement mentality, change this grace and faith thing. It is by grace, it is by grace. If you don't have a plan, God has nothing to do with you. Tell them. Never. You can pray until you have been done. When you go to God, you must show Him. This is what I want for 2020. He says He executes your plans. Now we have to change a lot of things that we know have brought us to where we are today. Ask your neighbor, how do you think you arrived to the point where you are now? Are you good? Are you happy? If you know that you are not happy, then you have just proven that life is not a destination. It's a series of changes. Every day there's a change. It can be big or small. You can't even say you know somebody because every day there is a change. We must perpetually live and walk our Christian walk with fear and trembling because we don't know tomorrow. I'm going to work tomorrow, you're going there, but you don't know. Next year, this time you'll be there. So you rely on God and the changes and the adjustments that will help you to still live if anything happens. That's why we have to live beyond now. Whatsoever change, whatsoever plan, you must put 10 more years extra. Amen. Amen? Yes. There were people who were young, now they are old. Ask Pastor So. In order for her to live the life that she's living now, she probably had to save a lot of money monthly and compromise a lot of things for later. Even us, there's a lot of things because we are still fit and we're working. There's a lot of things that we have to adjust so that we keep the momentum when we are old to keep that lifestyle. Amen. But you can't do it if you don't plan and you don't change. You have to change the way you have been seeing things. Many things you don't have control of. So if you don't have control of something, plan to live with that change. Say, things are not the same. This is happening. I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to be focused. I'm going to determine all my goals. I would rather be behind than to look as if I'm ahead when I don't have anything to show what is happening with my life. I want to change. I want to embrace change. I've been through thick and thin. I've done everything. But the fact that it's a new year and I'm getting another year, I'm older than last year. My lungs are older. My liver is older. Meaning even my health is getting older. I cannot continue wasting time. I am going to dedicate all my plans, all my aspirations, everything that matters to me, I will commit it to the Lord. Proverbs. Because I want a change. Please ask your neighbor, how much do you want the change? Every area of your life. Yes.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3. Commit your plans to the Lord, and your plans will succeed.
Commit your plans to the Lord. Now, one of the plans I want to change. You see how easy life is. What is your plan this year? I want to change. You know the plan. How am I going to change? Because when you know what you want, it's easy. You know when we say we are faith women and men, it simply means you are willing to do something though you don't know how. I'm a faith woman, I'm a faith man. I am planning, I want to change. I don't know how, but I'm willing. That's where faith comes in, not foolishly, by faith, but no. If you know what you want and you don't know how, by faith you get into it and you don't know how, you rely on God. I want to do this, but I don't know how. Why I go to church, why I read the Bible, why I pray, because I want my faith to be maximum. My petrol tank must be maximum. When my petrol tank is maximum, I settle it in my heart. Even when I don't know, as long as my heart is willing and I have changed my mind about that thing, I'm thinking right. There are things I know I can do, I can have, I can acquire, I can simply be the best, but I don't know how. This is what I want. God wants a plan. God is tired of people who gather, hey, something become nice. He wants you to talk to him like a father and tell him, if he does not come to party, someone is watching you and they're going to laugh at you. God is a God of glory too, the God of progression. He wouldn't reduce you, but he will take you out of into. That is a change. The only problem, people remain disappointed because they do not like change. If you want to have enemies in your life, keep on changing. Look, there are people who don't want you to change. Tell them. Yes. There are people who want to see you suffer. There are people who want to see you at the same point in life. And those people are not far from us. Some are our own close relatives. They don't want anything to happen to you. The day you say, I've stopped drinking, some will stop talking to you. Amen. The day you say, I've stopped going to the stadium, I've stopped hanging around, I've stopped all these funny things because I value my health, they will stop calling you because they want you to be at a certain place. That is of detriment to you. Amen. Now you have to define the change. Amen. This is what I want. This is for me, not for masses. Even Jesus knew. Jesus was the Son of God. He is the Son of God. But there were people he told, I'm not called to this one. He was very clear who to preach to. He was very clear who to hang around with. His own family came to see him. He said, my family are those who are with me, not you. He was very clear. He knew exactly with who must he share the vision with whom must he walk with, and with who must he deposit himself to. Not because there's masses of people who are looking for big churches. Anybody, even those who don't even hear your language. You must understand the change that God is bringing in your life and collaborate. Because he said, that change must be planned. Commit your plan. What is your change? What is your plan? My plan is to? Tell them, my plan is to change. That's all. The first thing that I have to do, I have to change. I have to change the way I think. I have to change the way I spend time on TV. I have to change the way I blow my money. I have to change the way I'm just directionless. I have to change everything about me to be better. That's the plan. Then you go to God. God says, if you plan to change, You mustn't resist the change. You mustn't fight the change. You mustn't ignore the change. You mustn't debate with the change. You must embrace it. Amen. Because it will come. Some of the changes, not every change is improvement. Tell neighbor. Some of the changes will cause you to cry, but for better results later. That's God. Some changes will cause you to even think, why me? But God knows the end. He knows exactly. He is a God who takes you out of, into. He will not be a God who leaves you anywhere. Because he's got plans, and he says, you must plan. Even though you plan, I will execute. Commit that plan to me. That's 3. Number 4, number 5, number 6. Pastor.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 4. The Lord has made everything for his own purpose, even the wicked for a day of disaster. Verse 5. The Lord detests the proud. They will surely be punished. Verse 7. When people's lives please the Lord, even their enemies are at peace with them.
You hear that? Now, the more you please God, you don't have to worry about people. The more you please God. The reason why people were interested in Jesus is because he was pleasing God. He says, commit your plan. If you become proud, I will shun you because things will happen. Don't forget that it's me. When you know it's me, those who are against you will be for you. Remember, people will only believe in you and want to work with you when they see the success. If you succeed in what you are doing. Did you hear what I'm saying? Yes, not when you say, hey, in the plan, here, somebody. No, they will look at what you are doing. If you are successful, then they will be interested. Now he's saying that if you commit your plans, don't be proud, otherwise I'll shun you. You commit to my plans, you commit your plans to me, you become humble. Those who said we will see, they will turn and come and apologize to you. There's the Bible. Number 5, number 6. Yes.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 5.
Yes.
The Lord detests the proud.
Yes.
They will surely be punished. Verse 6. Unfailing love and faithfulness make atonement for sin.
Yes.
By fearing the Lord, people avoid evil.
Yes.
Verse 7.
So by fearing the Lord, people
avoid evil.
I want to change. I want to stop evil. What must you do? Fear the Lord. Don't fear people. I want to change. I want to avoid evil. The reason why I don't drink is because I understand if there's 44% in an alcohol kind of container, it means I'm pumping 44% over my liver. Then I say, I've got a dream. I have a vision. Do you know what that means? It means I am not going to live to see that dream because my liver will fail. The reason I don't smoke, not that you can't, it's because your lungs are meant for air, not for smoke. So you are killing yourself. You're not even sinning to anyone. The reason why I don't lie, it's because you have to maintain those lies. There are so many things that we do. If we have reason to stop, you can stop today. But it's not easy. You can only stop because you want to change. And the Bible is clear. It says, you can only stop doing evil when you fear the Lord, not people. Alone. People will do nothing for you. I'm telling you the truth. In fact, if you want to be disappointed, hand over your life to people. But alone, you have to talk to yourself alone. Do you remember yesterday we spent a solid 2 hours alone? Each one of us, you found a corner in the mountain and you were talking to God. Alone. That's how it should be. For you to stop a lot of things that are disturbing you. Your mother, your father, your sister, your uncle, your boss should not even tell you when you know what you want, you have it's condemnation. You know that this is wrong. It's not going to help me in my program of change. If I say I want to change, I must fear God. When I fear God, wherever I am, it's easy to comply. Because I'm not doing it for people. I'm doing it for who? For God. By June, I'm setting up goals. There are things I need to achieve. They're not going to be achievable if I don't change. I have to change for things to happen to me. You don't have to be prayed for. Tell neighbor. You don't have to be delivered. Tell neighbor. Some of the actions require decision. That's why people are in and out of church. They vomit. They do what? Nothing happens because some of the things you have to choose. I choose this. This is what I want. This is me. This is what I want. Why do I want it? Because I want to be better. There's no mother, no father, no sister, no boss, no what. It's enhancing you. The better you are, the better a person you are. And in society, you can be able to live with anyone. Now, we don't understand. The person that you got married to 10 years ago, they're not the same. The job that you've been doing, it's not the same. Computers are coming, they're going to replace people. Finances are not okay because you look at South Africa, everything is changing. Even the trees, you can go to a river, put your foot on the river, like this, put it, and then the water will sweep all your footprints. After 5 minutes, you can't see it because the river is changing. The river is not stationary. If things can change, what about people? You go to Rocky Valley, it used to be a bush. Now there's developments all around. Things are changing. How about us? The nature is changing. You can see how you were 10 years ago and how you are now. You're changing. But are we acknowledging and accepting the change? God is helping us. He says the first thing you must do, plan to change. Once you have planned, commit yourself and your plan to who? Be humble. When you become humble, there is no Satan that will point a finger on you. Satan will not have hold on you. And when you become humble, I will give you the grace to be able to fear the Lord. You hear that? Yes. When you fear the Lord, it's progression. Already there's conviction. There are things you know. Because of what I want, I can't be found in these things. Because of what I want to achieve. Because of my children and the great-grandchildren. If I don't change, I'm a generational thief. Because I will clear my life quicker and I will be depriving the unborn children. Because if whatever good that you do, it will go to your great-grandchildren. That's the principle of life. Hence they say, children become punished because of the sins of who? Parents. Not even the sins that they commit. A child can sleep at cabana, but be very loving. A mother can be in uniform in a church, but have a bad heart. Do you know that that child's ways can be closed because of the mother's heart? Because it's a principle. Now we know this truth. We hear this truth. We are saying change. God, please change us first. Help us to renew our minds. God, when he made earth, he said, Genesis 2, verse 22. He created, he said, I will give you flowers. I will give you the earth. There will be light. There will be darkness. There will be season. Even Ecclesiastes 3 says, everything has got its time. Time for this, time for that, time for that. We have winter, we have summer, we have what. We don't throw our winter clothes now. The boots are in the wardrobe because there's nothing we can do about this weather. It is the season. And it's going to change. It is not forever.
It's not going to be hot forever. There will be a time when you have to put your gloves, your scarf, your boots. Hey, you know winter, it's coming. But nobody's selling their jackets and, oh, yes, Shisa, I don't need this jacket. No, you have put them somewhere safe because you know that that season is not permanent. That season will come and go, just a change. That's how powerful a season is. It will come and go. It's not permanent. Even if you say, I don't have money, what, people might say whatever. You say, I'm seasonally broke. Watch me in June. I am not going to make permanent decisions based on temporal problems. This thing is moving. It's not permanent. It's on transit. I can handle it. Yes, please read.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 7.
Yes.
When people's lives please the Lord, even their enemies are at peace with them.
Yes.
Verse 8. Better to have little with godliness than to be rich and dishonest.
It's better to have
Little.
but it's pure, than big things, but there's pain. Yes. You see, when you read this scripture, some of these Bible verses, you don't want to read them. But if you understand what God is saying, he says, I change things precepts by precepts. I don't use time. I don't use a clock. I build things bit by bit, slowly. Even if you think things are crumbling, that change is good for you. He says it's better to have something that is yours and genuinely yours than something that you acquire and other people are crying. But it comes with change. It means we must change our minds this year. Yes. It's not worth it to look at things that are not permanent and overlook the things that truly matter. This is what it simply says. Because some of the things that we have, we don't even acknowledge. We think they're nothing. Do you know that there's somebody who's looking for the same job that you have, but when you look at that job, it's nothing? Someone who's looking for a partner, the partner that you are not content with, someone else is looking for. Somebody has got no shelter over their heads. That one room, you think it's nothing. Someone else is crying to have an address. Because we want big things. Jesus says it's better to have little and build precepts by precepts. It's a change, but it's gradual. Amen? Genesis 2, verse 22.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 22.
Yes.
Then the rib which the Lord had taken from man, he made into a woman. He brought her to the man. Verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
Amen. So he creates one man. He knows that this man I'm going to change to produce a lot of people. Can you hear that? When God sees a human being, he sees potential. The change is positive. From one man, he created all of us. I see these ribs. When you see these ribs to pump them with, what are you drinking now? Fish Eagle. He sees a rib that will produce people. I see this work. I see this seed. When I see this seed, I see a forest. When you see a useless person. Yeah, when you see, what do I see? I see a seed. This seed, I can produce a forest. I see a child. This child, tomorrow, there will be a child of substance. But because we don't have that sense of look, the look of Jesus Christ, we don't see these things. We see the worst. Genesis 8, verse 22.
Genesis chapter 8, verse 22.
Yes.
While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall cease.
You hear that?
Oh.
Winter, summer, autumn, spring. But they are not permanent. No. Even all problems, I'm telling you right now, they are not permanent. You must look at the problem and laugh. Never ever make a decision based on a temporary problem, because some of the decisions become permanent. Yeah, never ever decide to leave somebody because they were crazy between those 7 days of month end. You know the cycle of the women that they experience moods. So some people can base that 7 days out of someone's life and divorce them, not understanding that they are just mad for 7 days. They will be fine. Another person will disintegrate the union because somebody is not working for a month, not knowing that the next month they'll be working. So you can't base a temporary problem and give it a permanent decision. It's dangerous. You must accept the change in that period and understand how to deal with it. Please read the Bible.
Genesis chapter 8, verse 22.
Yes.
While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
You hear that? While while the earth remains, seed time,
and
harvest time,
cold and heat,
yes,
summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Now, do you understand why you are not making a jumble sale in your house, trying to sell all the blankets because it's hot? Because you understand the season. And you know that in the next 3 months, but why do you understand with things and you don't understand in your life what God is doing? Amen. Yes. You look at the flowers, they're very beautiful now. Every flower has got a specific color, and every color has got a specific function, because some birds don't see certain colors. But look at the collaboration of things. Even when the tree is supposed to depart from its trunk, it will not refuse. It understands in August it needs to be blown away. It's painful to bond with a tree, and then the next thing you are blown away. You don't even know where you are going. They don't complain. Look at the birds. The birds, they've got a full-fleshed fur. When it's winter, it's beneficial. When it's summer, I'm sure they are hot, but do you see them toy-toying and saying, I'm getting us fly? Yeah, she's. No, they adhere, they understand the seasons, and they collaborate with the change because of insight. It must be revealed to you what a change means. For you not to be disappointed, have the eyes of understanding. Know that things will not remain the way they are forever. No, some of us, we meet for reasons. Some is for seasons. But I'm not sure of the life, because the only person that's living in eternity is God. That's why he does not live in time. God does not use time. When he says, I'll do something tomorrow, it's probably 10 years from now. He's got no stress of time because he has his own time. And God's time is the best. But you must understand the change. Understand it. You go home today and say, I understand some of the things I was trying to figure out. I understand that you are not the same. And I'm willing to walk with the change and work with that change. Understand that our finances are no longer the same. I'm willing to collaborate and understand the situation. I understand I'm getting older. There are interests that you don't even have to pursue. No! There are people that you don't even have. Permission. Blocker. Motosa edifying out. Block. Block. Otherwise, you are going to go like this. Yes. There are other people, you don't even have to associate with them. Check what you want to change. If you say you want to stop smoking, you can't say now you want to stop smoking and then unali stomp. There's no way. Others will say, I want to stop drinking. But wherever there is mukiti, all your weekends are wasted with wrong association. How can you win? You have the most beautiful family, most beautiful things. You can stay in your house the whole weekend without going. Amen. I deliver you in Jesus' name. Read the Bible.
Genesis chapter 8, verse 22.
Yes.
For as long as earth lasts, planting and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never stop.
Day and night will never, because it's seasons. Then there's another one, Daniel. Daniel 2 is talking about power and wisdom. Everybody wants power. But I know that power, it's not permanent. That's why when we were at school, there were people who used to envy. Did you have those people in your life? Or, mangkhula. Especially abazama ka digusheshe. Phela ngiphume Middlelands, ngiyazazi lezi. If they are wearing nice clothes, they're walking the walk. Hey, when I grow up, I want to be like this person. Now you are grown up. Do you know that some of them are helping people to park now? Yeah? What's that? What's that? And these cars have got cameras, so you wonder the person is being sensed. They are the ones who are an obstacle. Because you can see the screen has got a camera, we don't need him. But things have changed. They used to drive, now they're helping people to park. That's life. Life is a series of changes. Life is a college. Very few people graduate. Very few. Many easily say, I used to. I was. Because of the choices. Not even people. The choices that one makes will determine the kind of lifestyle. The kind of father, the kind of mother. I preach the same thing in different forms. Because my heart breaks when you see somebody who has such potential and they waste their life. Because they don't understand that umntu nomntu uyozimela ngaphambi kwaje kuzobe kunganamama. Yes, some of the people, you must go and buy your box casket before you die because you are a problem uphila. Those books gubhela usinike number. Read the Bible. Yes, you speak to people, people look clever. They don't want to listen. Hey, what are you doing with the life? They know everything. So I must just tell them, go to Avalon with the fosholo, dig the hole, and go to Martin's. You must lay by your box. So when you are a problem, you just go. Yes.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 14. When Arioch, the commander of the king's guard, had gone out to put to death the wise men of Babylon, Daniel spoke to him with wisdom and tact.
And tempt, that's a synonym
Yes.
on a language base. When you put it in the right context, it would mean power and wisdom. Now, it means Daniel says, if somebody has got power, it is good. But power is not permanent. Amen. Do you know that power is not permanent? It does not mean where we are, we will always be. What will keep you where you are is the choices you make every day. Who you are now and what you'll become 10 years, tell your neighbor, choices. Not even witchcraft. There are things you have to look at and change the way you see change. You must change the way you see change. Because power, it's not permanent. Even the people who are in procurement now, they are in they are executive, whatever they are. Power is not permanent. Because life is a series of changes. Today it's me, tomorrow it's you. But I will keep where I am by making the choices because nobody has got control over my mind. It's only me. You keep the choices right, you sustain your life. Because of what I want to see. I want to change the history of my lineage. The way I was brought up, I don't want my children to experience. What do? I choose right. Sometimes you sacrifice what you love most for later. I don't always get my way. It's a sacrifice. you shed tears in your shower or in your bath because of what you want. Ooh! You bite the bullet, Mr. Skosan, because of what you believe. And what you believe, it will change, but God will give you the strength to deal with the change. Yes. Job 14.
Job 14, yes.
Yeah? Job
Yes.
14, verse 5. Yes.
Job chapter 14, verse 5. You have decided the length of our lives. You know how many months we will live, and we are not given a minute longer.
And we don't have control. He says, you have decided our life. You know how long we should live. And we are not even given a minute longer. The other version, where it says, a man does not even have control. Do you hear that? You don't have control of the time that you are given, because if you are here on earth, immediately when God says, come, there's an assignment. And there is a time frame, a schedule, how much time you have to do what you have to, and you can't add any minute or any second. You can't even manipulate it. Yes. When he says, I'll give you 75 years, Jesus had 30 years, and then he had 3 years to execute his mission here on earth. So at 33, Jesus departed. He didn't die. No. He was finished while he was breathing. There was no point of him continuing. Then we find people like Methuselah, 969 years of life. Not written a book, not prayed for anyone, not blessed anyone, nothing. So we wouldn't necessarily want to live long if we don't have a mission. You have to accomplish your mission. When God calls you home, you are not going to spook or squeal or cry or fight. You'll be like Jesus. You'll just look down and say, it is finished. Why? What you came here for, it's done. Because he would have finished. That's what he meant. It was not finished his life, but the assignment. He says, those who needed to be healed are healed. Those who needed to be delivered are delivered. Those who needed breakthrough have breakthrough. Those that I had to assist, they're assisted. 3 years. Now the first thing I want to change procrastination. Woo! I will. Let's. I want to plan. Let's go. Let's there. Let's this. Let's there. Kill that vocab in your life. When they say to you, let's say I've got a plan. No time to waste. I get a mind a label let's. I've got a plan already. Occupied. Amen? Yes.
Job chapter 14, verse 5. Mortals have a limited lifespan. You've already decided how long we live. You set the boundary and no one can cross it.
Woo! You set the boundary and no one can cross it. That's God now. So it says, Muzi, you have 75 years to live, plus bonus years, but I'm giving you 10 years to establish that gift and to nourish it. Then Muzi thinks he's got 20 years. That's what happens to people. That's why you see people cry. God gives you the grace. God can say, this year I'm giving you a multi-million rand tender or whatever. But because we don't know that tomorrow it might not be there, we waste our time. And then we cry when the opportunity has gone. But that time was your space and your grace. You are supposed to maximize. You don't understand the value of time. Some of us will have good promotions this year. A change is coming. But we won't bother to upgrade ourselves to match the skill. Again, the position is there. You must equip yourself. Yes. Abantu abaningi, they are so bored. Do you know that tomorrow, 70% of people who are employed are so bored with what they're doing. Some will be half off sick tomorrow. Just the thought of waking up. Oh. Hey, I give out the spine. They are bored to death. Why? There is no exit strategy. There is no motivation. They don't want change. Their cup is there. Their teaspoon is there. Their flask is there. Their drawer is there. They can even do everything with their eyes closed because they've been there for 20 years. No change. They come back home. Some of you have your own sofa. I don't know how to do that more. Let me remote. Everything is experience. I've heard people saying experience is the best teacher. I don't agree. Experience is a dream killer. If you rely on experience, you are doomed because you'll stop doing new things. It stops you from innovation. Now you must refuse experience. That's why David won. David defeated Goliath because he did not have experience of the sword and the armor. Can you please read, Pastor? He didn't know these things. Now when Saul said, hey, Chana, do you know that Goliath can kill you and kill you? Take my things. He says, no, I don't want these things. I don't know these things. I'm going in the name of Jesus. He took a stone because he didn't have experience on the sword. Goliath was misplaced. He was expecting a sword. To his surprise, he was killed by a stone. Experience is akubulala. Izakumoshela izinto. Izakumoshela umshado, ikumoshela ibhizinisi. Experience is dangerous. Let God teach you. Commit your plans to God every second. Say, Lord, I'm a faith man, I'm a faith woman. I want to pursue this thing, but this faith, I'm using it. I am willing to do it. Teach me. I do things by faith because sometimes I don't know how, but my heart is willing. God says, I'll teach you. Not people, Him. He teaches you a new method. Now, if you look, Saul is a king. If Saul is a king, he's got power. It means there are several soldiers that he has supposedly killed. There are several wars that he has been engaged in. David is the smallest. But because David has got God's spirit, Saul, confused. I don't know these things. Now, the first thing we must do 2020, get rid of the Saul. Tell them, I have changed. Amen. I want to be this unique woman. Proverbs 31. Amen. 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 Proverbs 31. Lo mfazi ukwazi ukuthula athi tu. Bare kita ushap or kita raga or sorry. Please funda la.
1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 39.
Yes.
David put it on, 38. Then Saul gave David his own armor.
What did he say first? He intimidated him and told him, you have no idea of the place you are going to and the person you are going to challenge. You have no idea of the size. I get people will tell you. If Jack says, I want to go and open Netcare, the first person who's going to discourage him is his wife. Netcare, we're not only casualty. Because he does not believe in his dream. He says, I want to open a hospital where I will train every doctor. It's an academy for those who think they know. I want to train them. They'll laugh at you. Do you know that there's no place that is an institution like a college to train everybody of the things that they're using? Because you train them now, they forget there's no refresh. Yes. You train them. Say, come, I train you on blood pressure scale, train you on CPR stuff, I train you on all these things. Come, I train you, you doctor. Not the assistant. Because Makfiwe Theatre, who number one? There's nobody who has that hospital, that school. That's how I think. That's how deep I think. No one, the whole world, there is no college for doctors to understand the machines. They just come there with white things. They know nothing about the technology. They rely on the assistants. So you call them. And it's 1,000 per minute. Yeah. 1,000 booking, 1,000 per minute. Unless if you are not in business, you are doing charity. Yes.
1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 32.
Yeah.
Then David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine.
Who's this one? David.
Yes.
David said, let no man's heart fail because of him. Who's him? Goliath. Eh?
Yes.
But everybody is scared of this man. They're looking at the size. They're looking at the experience. They're looking at the intimidation. They're looking at the cost. They're looking at the association. They are looking at history. Hey! Some of you get intimidated by people who don't mean anything to you. Just because of your eyes. I told you I have a best friend. She's an advocate. She works at Parliament. She doesn't see, but she's an advocate. Now I asked her, I said, what would be the worst thing that would happen to you besides blindness? She says, a man without a vision. She says, it's worse to have eyes and not see what you want in life. She says, I thank God for my blindness because it has taught me to use my mind. And I have created a vision through my mind. There is nothing else she will ask God, even if she had an opportunity. She wants to be blind because sight prevents vision from growing. That is the ideology. Many people, they use their eyes and they are scared. They don't know that something can still be done. So she says, because I am blind, that's why I'm achieving what I'm achieving. I don't have to see things that will discourage me. She says, I'm glad that I don't see. Because in my blindness, I do, if not even the sky is the limit, I do more than what a normal person can do. Now, can you think that way with your disability? Or you will sleep the whole day and cry and say, Giti sonke abangtandi, what? She does not even feel it. She's doing her doctorate this year in administration. She's using brailles to study. When she phones, she's got a headphone. Because she can't WhatsApp and SMS, she's got the headphones. And she speaks nicely. You won't even know. Now with us, with all the capabilities, but we are so scared of Goliath when we see him. Somebody says, Goliath ungaga. Then you are scared. David says, you are mistaken, say. I don't want these things. What was proposed to him, Pastor?
1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 38.
Yes.
So Saul clothed David with his armor, and he put a bronze helmet on his head. He also clothed him with a coat of mail. Verse 39. David fastened his sword to his armor and tried to walk, for he had not tested them. And David said to Saul, I cannot walk with these.
Yay! Something that's supposedly supposed to defend him. He says, I can't even walk. Guys, I can't walk with this. And David was 14. Can I tell you how old David was? 14 years old. Killing a warrior that has been problematic. Hence, this boy says, do not let anyone be dismayed. There will be victory today. Amen. Hey! Goliath is just a photo. Goliath is just a picture. He's inexperienced. That's why he's successful. If he was experienced, he was going to think he's more protected with these warrior things. But that's the expectation from Goliath. Now, he killed the expectation. He killed the human factor. He killed self-reliance. He killed everything that people thought they knew. And he took a stone. Now, some of you, if you start thinking like that, you can even own a mine. Yabona na khona uthini lo mama? Aningizwa. Just with your mind. Please tell neighbor. You can acquire things just by changing your mind. Not with cash. Just by. He's already won because he's telling himself, I don't need these things. They are good for Goliath because of his stature. He's 14 years old. They are forcing him to use someone's armor. Now some of us, abakareke moli fureng moli, ukahana wena uraki. No, you will never. They say, oh, you see that lady, that one, she's got 100 million in her right pocket. Even if bathi mpumpu hambo yompropose ngaya khona thanda ini imali ngeke ukuthi hayi mina ku vision yami anginayo ipicture yalo muntu. Even jobs. Do you know that there are people who are taking themselves out of grace now because of cash? They are running for cash. Yes. Other people are changing career. Everything they start, they don't finish. Why? If somebody approves and says, hey, there it's nice, abana here. There it's happening, abana here. Now this one is 14 years old. He's telling the king, King Saul, I respect you, but I'm not going to use. Now ask your neighbor, how many Goliaths do you have in your life? How many things have you wanted to do and what did they say? How many pictures did you draw? Which ones have you accomplished? When you see your life now, what do you desire and what stops you? If you say you want change, what is it that you want to change first? Because you have to write these things down. Some of you, God will show you big, big visions, but you'll tell it to Goliath. Goliath will tell you it will not work. That's why the first change, get rid of Goliath. David had to object and oppose the king for him to win. He was not scared that he's the king because of what he believed, and he stuck to what he believed. He said no to somebody that no one can say no to. Even Steve Jobs. I told you about Steve Jobs. There is an iPad, there is a PC, Mac Pro, there is a cell phone. There's watches now. When he created the iPad, Apple said it will not work. They told him straight, you are a dreamer. It's too small. Now the world is revolving around Apple. They're making billions. He is dead. But because of the change he has brought, Apple is a multi-million-rand company. I told you about Bill Gates. Bill Gates was told, you are mad. There is no way we can stop programming with DOS, disk operating systems. He says, leave this now. Change to Microsoft. They fired him. He went to his garage, started working out, and he got the product finished with all the investments of prototyping. When the product went to the market, it was successful. Now Microsoft is making Bill Gates a billionaire. They are buying the same product that they said is not working. Now Bill Gates was in those premises. He was employed by those people. They had an advantage, but because of resisting change, they have to pay billions now from the same person. Other people. There's a lot of things that when you resist change and you want to live with your experience, you are choking yourself. Yes. True. Some of you, you go to your wardrobe, you want to cry. Why? Because you have changed, but you are still crying for that dress. You have not taken it out. Tish has belinglingan. Sibongile, dudu, wazodonsa. Izipha evali. Why? I'm resisting the change. I know there are things that I'm keeping and I should change. Amen? Yes. Some of us, we don't understand. If you let things go, then you have room to receive. You must open your hand. Some people are supposed to be so successful. They are still failing to tithe. You know tithe, 10%. They can't give. Something can't come in. Now you can get into your house and see, what is it that I don't need? I need a change. Now we hold on to things. That is poverty mentality. We hold on to them because we can't give out. We don't like the change. Do you know that there are people who have polo necks from the time they are students at high school? They are so attached. The first thing they'll tell you, never. This polo neck, I got it from my grandmother. Take it out, you see. Change is good. I'm telling you the truth. You change your lifestyle, change your diet, change your habits, change your thoughts. Renew them. Because you can't do much about change. You have to manage it. That's why God is asking us. Romans, it says, renew your mind. Because when you change your mind, you change a lot of things. Hence, Kiri, some of you are perpetually regretting things because every little thing you don't understand, you make a permanent decision. You don't understand. This change has come. How do I live with it? Yes.
Romans chapter 12, verse 2.
Yes.
And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
Yes. So we must renew our minds. Our bodies are changing. Businesses are changing. Workplaces are changing. Relationships are changing. Health is changing. Finances are changing. A lot of things are changing. Calling is changing. But we can't do much about it. What are we going to do? We're going to collaborate and accept the change. Amen? Can you please quickly write these things down? How to respond to change, because the world does not teach you how to respond to change. You must understand that you cannot resist the change, so you must accept the change. You must not ignore the change. You must not resist the change. You must adjust to the change. You must manage the change, and you must not be victim to the change. If the change is bad, other people will sit in the corner and cry. So you must be able to manage the change. And anything you know that you can't change, go and sleep. Don't stress. Amen? You must prepare and plan for a change. We are in South Africa. We don't know. We see World Economic Forums, we see all these investments, we see BRICS, we see that, but we don't really understand and know what is the financial impact and also nationally. What will happen to our GDP, our investors? We have perpetual load shedding. People are skeptical to invest in South Africa because of uncertainty. Now we don't know. So you can't wait and look at employment alone. When you go home, go and do amakwenya. Do something else. There's 24 hours in a day. Amen? So the 8 hours you are at Faro, the other 8 hours, look at your vision. Amen. Why? Because people like easy things. So you go to work and work for 8 hours. When you get home, do something else. That's why you find in the States, I stayed in Europe, I stayed in America. I work, because when you are working, you are exposed to all these different cultural barriers. There are people in America, they are qualified engineers, nurses during the day, But at night, they are washing aircrafts. At night, they have that after-hours daycare, looking after people's babies. At night, they're washing grannies. Because the cost of living in Europe and in the States is too high. That's why when they come here, they think, yo, South Africa is cheap. If you say accommodation is 5,000, for them it's about 400 US dollars. It doesn't really matter, it doesn't affect them. But it's because they've also mastered the art of getting more, to streamline more than one revenue. They do other things. But with South Africa, we have normal hours. Even when you haven't finished, you knock off, you go home, you want to chill. You have another 8 hours that you are wasting, you don't know. Another 8 hours that you're wasting, you're sleeping. Look at the time that we have. There, the shops don't close. 24 hours. When he comes out of his surgery, he's going to work something else. When he's busy teaching, he's going to clean somewhere else. And they're living a very splendid lifestyle, but they work for it. Now, South Africa, we've got cream, man. You're looking at infrastructure. You know, when I'm out of the country, I miss home so much because there is nothing so beautiful like South Africa. I'm telling you the truth. We have everything. The restaurants are on the walkways. There's no space for anything. There's no parking. It's congested. London. There's nothing to write home about. South Africa, we still have the best. Now, if we can change our thinking, we change our lives, we must first change this mediocrity and the entitlement mentality that the government must do something. You need to know and say, I've got a plan. From 8 to 4, I am in this company. From 4 to 7, I'm going to do other things. Expand your revenue streams. Apply your capabilities, your mind. You will see. You will lack nothing. Even when the country is in trouble, you will not feel it. Because you have taken the strategy. God says, I've given you so many things, so many resources. I did not give Adam a table and chairs. I just gave him a tree. He had to think and he made finish. You see? So this is what he's doing. There are Christians that are meant to go to high places. Yes, there is kingdom wealth. There is abundance just for you, not for everybody. It's for a specific kind of cream. There's a space, there's a circle of influence. God is looking for people who know him to bless them beyond a curse. But he says, if you are in the new year and you are saying Happy New Year, you must perpetually ask yourself, God, you saw it fit for me to see this 2020. Today it's the 2nd of the 2nd, 2020. It will never happen again. 02/02/2020. It's another day today. Historically, it will be recorded. It will never happen again. How many 2s and 0s do we have there? It will never. So something is changing, heavenly so. But we don't acknowledge. You must ask yourself, God, if I buried somebody last year and you see that I'm fit to live this year, oh my God, let me give you a reason why I should live. The first thing is because I want to change, Baba. Oh, I want to change. That's all I want to do. If you help me to change, then I'm victorious. And God knows our heartbeats. He says, I'm looking not for the whole world. I'm looking for a few Christians that will represent me well, financially, physically, every area, academically, every area of your life. Baraki Christian. Yeah, she's a pastor, or he's a prophet, he's a what. Barry, that is a Christian. Representing our God well. Not only in church, wherever we go. Yes. I tell neighbors, it's possible to make dust wherever you go. This is the year. Today it's 02/02. It will never happen. So when Pastor was saying it in the mountain, I wrote it in my diary. And I wrote just one thing. Every time I look at this thing, I've been praying about it for 3 months. I even laugh at myself to say, can this really happen? But if God can see it fit for me to see this day, it has never happened. So how many things is God going to do with the obedient people? Yeah, we don't only want to talk about him, we want to experience him. People must be interested in the God that we serve. So we must also know that we are special people appointed by God, and is going to do certain things in our lives, not because of us, but for his name. In Jesus' name. Please read, Pastor.
Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect.
Amen. What is the will of God? What is good,
Good
and acceptable?
and
Because we
perfect.
have so many Goliaths, we have so many associations. We also have our own independent mind. How do you know what you want to do is from? From God, and the time for it. Can you please read Ecclesiastes 3? There is time for this, there is time for that, there is time for this. So when do I know what time is it and what I must do? It's very difficult because a lot of you know what you want to do, but you don't know the timing. Amen? So if you don't know the timing, you keep on saying, I'm still praying about it. Run away from those kind of bazalwan. I'm still praying. It sounds righteous, but it's mere laziness. When are you going to do this? I'm still praying about it. People spiritualize laziness. If he shows you, when you are gifted and God shows you something, the level of demand, he has given you the capability. God will not demand something that you are not able to supply. Economics, there's a supply and demand. So when there is a supply, they'll tell you, people who major in statistics, when there is a supply, there's also a demand. So when he says do this, it means you are capable of the supply. Don't say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm doing it now, God. People who work with me, they will testify that prophet is a very impatient person. When I want something, I want it now. I tell you, do this now, because it must be now. Tomorrow, it's another day. Maybe you won't even wake up. But we take things for granted. I'm a person, when I see something and I know God said it, I don't waste time. So I'll tell you today, next week we are going to the mountain. Those who are called for that event, I'm not looking for masses. I'm looking for obedience. Those who are called, who are supposed to, they will. Those who are not, then they won't. So next week, there are ordinations. I tell you, we are doing this now. When you say, but prophet, we have not, this is what we are supposed to do. Obedience costs you nothing. Disobedience can cost you everything. Everything, including the things you've been working for. Just by a slight delay. Because with God, it's not like college or varsity. You don't graduate because you have written an exam and passed. It's the more obedient. Guru, in the things of the spirit, you can do sub A for 10 years. Tell me. You can repeat sub A in the things of the spirit. Say, I've been in church for 15 years, but with the obedience, you are sub A. Because every time it tells you something, you procrastinate. There's the other scripture that I like, Ecclesiastes. There is always time for everything. But which time is what? How do I know? Yes.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. For everything there's a season, a time for every activity under heaven. Verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest. Verse 3, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up. Verse 4, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance. Verse 5. A time to scatter stones and time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away. Verse 6. A time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away. Verse 7. A time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak. Verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Verse 9. What do real people get for all their hard work? Verse 10. I have seen the burden God has placed on us. Verse 10. I have seen the burden God has placed on us all. Verse 11. Yet God has made everything beautiful for his time. He has planted eternity in the heart of man. But even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from the beginning to end.
I have seen God has made everything in its time. Everything is beautiful. Oh, everything is beautiful in its
Time.
But time and change, they're cousins. They're like this, intertwined. You see that? They are like time and they're like this. You can't separate time from change. So everything has got its time and everything has got change. So with time, something has to change. Now I'm saying to you, make it your priority this year to change. The first plan you must have is what? Change. Thank you very much.